Okay, so I'm on my 10th minute. Let's start with the revenue report of JYP, SM, and YG. And the only reason I did not include HYBE is because I've already done theirs last week. But I will include a summary of their revenue report here at the end. Okay, let's do JYP first. Patty Shelber said that it's hard to invest in HYBE if international. It is very hard, yeah. So that I will not, yeah, I will not contest. Yes, correct. I will not disagree with that. Okay, so for YG Entertainment, let's do YG first because theirs is the most shocking. So their primary money earner is really Baby Monster for 2024. They had a little bit of other acts like um what do you call this, Treasure, I think, maybe Treasure. They have a bit, but not a lot. And also because Black Label separated their operations and their books from YG, they really had nobody but basically Baby Monsters. So Baby Monster, sorry, no S. So they released three albums, I think. So they have a single album, a mini album with two songs, and then I think they released a single album, and then their first full album, which is Drip, and it is understandable why, because they really didn't have anybody to count on. They don't have any act that was earning money from them except Baby Monster. So for this is Q4, this part is Q4 of 2024, and then this is the 2024 fiscal year. So this is for the whole year. So their gross revenue for 20 for the Q4 for 2024 quarter 4 is 71 million. And then for operating profit, it's 679,000. My God, that's so small. They did earn a net profit of 14 million, which is not bad. So this is their net profit. But at the end of the year, for 1 year, they actually lost money, $342,000, which is kind of shocking considering supposedly their only expense is block or is Baby Monster, sorry. So you would think that it will be more efficient because they're not spending a lot of money on anything. So it's not. I was surprised that they still lost money considering it's just one act. But I guess they have other expenses, other debts that they need to pay, and things that they need to settle. But yes, so they have, it's like some sort of a mini tour. It's not really a big tour. I think they're kind of, just doing it small scale for now, and testing the waters whether it's going to be if the group has enough pull internationally. Black Label has Somi and Rose. Yeah, so Black Label is kind of in a better standing because they had Somi and Rose. The thing is that neither is touring. So neither Somi nor Rose is actually touring. They have, and I don't think, did Somi release any album? So it's not like they're very active. So outside of those two, I mean, in terms of touring, Rose is very active. She just released an album. But do remember for Rose, it's a limited management. So Rose owns herself. She actually has her own label. It's just that she turned over. So she is in partnership with Black Label for certain things, but not necessarily for it's not really her management company. It's a partnership. So a lot of people kind of don't understand that, but it's just a partnership. They've been busier. Black Label is busier with Meow. So they've heavily invested in this group, and I think by this year they'll probably gonna release an album and then do a mini tour just to test the waters. um isn't G Dragon and other boy band members part of YG? They all left, I think. They all left. They only stayed with YG for the group activity, but not for individual activities. So, and also like G Dragon only started releasing latter part of 2024 and early, and then 2025, I think. So, but it doesn't matter because they don't own those groups. Okay. Um, at Apo Bangpo, Desang is still a part of YG. Really? Okay. Well, he's more active in Japan. Okay. Warren said Treasure had something like 40 tour dates in 2024, mostly arena shows. It's pretty incorrect to say only Baby Monster was active. Okay. So that could probably be the 14 million. I mean the 71 million that they earned. So Warren said that Treasure actually had a 40 city tour in 2024. Okay. So, but they did lose 300 at the end of the year. They still lost 342,000. As I've said, it's still very surprising if you have like a very small, a limited amount of acts that you'd be spending on, then you would think that they would be earning more. So, okay, so that's their income. Okay, for the revenue report for SM Entertainment, they are actually in a better standing. This is straight out of their annual report. So this came from them. So for Q4 of 2024, they lost 24.1 billion won. That's their net income for Q4 of 2024. So they still lost, although their gross revenue is high, 273.8 billion. Um, so yeah, Jessica is saying Black Label has actors too, like Park Bogum. Um, Black Label has actors. I am not sure. I thought YG has actors and they're closing their acting division, but I could be wrong. So this is where the revenue came from. So this revenue of 273.8 billion, that came from this activity. So they had physical albums, appearances, which includes TV, advertising, and events. They had concerts, licensing, and others. So it was a busy year for SM Entertainment. They had so several groups actually toured here. So ah, okay, so several groups actually toured. I guess it didn't capture it, but um so th- espa espa toured, and then NCT toured. um they have this other group, Rise, who did a fan event tour. So it's also a tour, but smaller scale, and it's mostly fan event. TVXQ also toured. So they, like, there's a lot. They were very, very active for 2024, plus all the album releases. But at the end of it, they still kind of lost money. Not kinda, but they still lost money. Okay. So the other thing that they did, so they were not in a good standing for 2024 financially, but they wanted to make sure that their stakeholders, their shareholders are happy. So what they did was they retired shares. Okay, so they retired remaining shares in order to boost the value per share. Okay, so what is retiring a share? Okay, what does it mean? It means that you are, one second, I want to get the wording exact, very, very correct. So it means that the company is permanently canceling the shares it repurchased during recent share buybacks, removing them from circulation. It's like burning the shares. So what happens is that since there are fewer shares left out there, then the value of the share goes up. So I know what you're gonna think, because okay, sure, sorry, there you go. I know what you're gonna think because I've thought about it too, and I've asked this several times already. Like, does that mean isn't some sort of some form of cheating, because the company's revenue isn't actually going up? They are simply burning the shares for it to go up. So smaller number of shares out there, then the revenue goes higher. So it kind of is like that. You're kind of cheating, but okay, that's what it is. So that's what they did in order uh, to repay or to increase the value of the shares of the stakeholders, the shareholders. They were burning their shares. Okay. For This is for, let me remove myself. There you go. So this is for JYP Entertainment. They actually are the company. They actually did the best. So 100 billion won, Korean billion won, is that's their net income. Okay. Their gross profit is 569 billion, and then their net income is 100 billion. So they're the best performing label for 2024. Okay. So they and that's not, I mean, that's not a puzzle. That shouldn't be a puzzle for anybody because they have two groups that were very active, and it's their two top groups. Stray Kids, they finished their tour Dominate July of 2024, and they're going to go on tour again for 2025. So I guess their income will continue to come in because Stray Kids will continue touring. Outside of that, uh, Twice concluded their tour July as well of 2024, and their last leg they were almost all arena. They also had a big tour in Japan, and that always brings in a lot of money. So the last half of 2024, the different members actually went off on their own to release solo albums, and they did units. So one of the biggest units that they have is Misamo, which is the Japanese line of the group. Um, um, Momo, Sana, and Mina. So the three of them, and they did a huge tour as well in Japan. They're big in Japan. So the money continued coming in. First half, it was the two groups touring, their top two groups, and then in the second half, the groups were actually releasing albums. So the strategy worked for them when they were releasing all of these groups. Okay, so as a summary, SM, YG, and JYP. So this is Q4 of 2024, and this is fiscal year of 2024. So as you can see, JYP actually has the most amount of money in terms of revenue, the highest revenue, 69.3 million. And then SM Entertainment, okay, so they actually kind of earned, I said they lost money, they kind of earned 384,000, but still very small compared to the 678 million gross revenue that they had for 2024. So still very small, as opposed to YG, who lost $342,000. If you include HYBE, which I reported on last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week is when I reported on that. At the end of the fiscal year, HYBE lost $2.48 million. So among the four companies, they lost the most amount of money, but they also earned the most amount of money. So, you know, but we discussed that, why that happened, because they're heavily investing in the future. Now, just some insights because it's very interesting the differences in strategy of these different groups, of these different management companies. So for example, for JYP, we all know that they really like pumping new groups regularly. Right now they have ITZY. So outside of Twice, they have ITZY, and they also have NMIX. And then they're going to launch a new group. They launch Kick Flip, and then they're going to launch a new group again. So they have this they frequently launch a new group. So their strategic approach is all about emphasizing frequent debut cycles for new groups. So that ensures continuous pipeline of groups of new talents. Simultaneously, the company maximizes the potential of their current or established groups by sustaining high frequency touring schedules and by allowing them to, or not allowing them, but by regularly releasing new albums. So it's a, I guess you can say, a dual, a two-pronged strategy. One is about preparing for the future, and then the second one is about maximizing what they have. So aggressive group launches and sustained global touring efforts, it, because of those strategy, that positioned JYP to capitalize on their investments, and now they're reaping the benefits of it. They are very, very profitable. In fairness to them, they have always been profitable. So they've always had some sort of like a balance strategy. If they don't have a lot of groups that are touring, they also tighten their belt when it comes to spending. Okay. Next, Stray Kids stages. I don't know if you've been into one. I've been to two, one in South Korea and then the other in LA. Their stages are very, very simple, and that translates to more efficient spending. So you know how BTS stages are so intricate, they're big, and it's always, and they have to be, because it's a part of the narrative. When they do their concerts, it's a part of the story. The stage itself tells the story. So one example would be Suga. His stage, it's divided into six panels. Each panel actually disappears or it goes up, and then at the end of the concert, it's just him on the floor singing. So that in itself is a part of the narrative. And then the same thing is true with Love Yourself, like that, those huge stages, it's part of the story that they're trying to communicate. As for Stray Kids, and so of course, because it is expensive, not only is it expensive to build, it's also expensive to tour. So it's either you're bringing everything. If you cannot recreate it in the local area, you're going to bring everything with you on tour. So you're going to either fly it or whatever. So that's very expensive. For Stray Kids, the stages are very, very simple. So the it's mostly, I guess, the most intricate part of their act would be the strings, because there's I guess I can discuss it because the tour is done. There is a part in their concert where they are held up by strings, not really held up, but like they're tied. So that would be the most like intricate part of the, and of course they have video walls and whatever, but still very, very simple. So transporting the stage itself is not a huge expense. Bye, Eva. Thank you for staying on. Okay. Dawn Marie said, I have tickets this June for Stray Kids at City Field. I might go. That depends. So anyway, I'll discuss it later. They're good. They're really good. You're not going to regret buying a ticket. Okay, so, and then the other thing is, because of this strategy, because Stray Kids and Twice are still very active, I think they're still going to be okay for 2025 all the way until 2026, because they're starting their tour. So Stray Kids has started their tour. They have started their tour. And then Twice will be touring, I think, at the second, like last quarter of 2025 or first quarter of 2026. So they will be okay for the next 2 years. The only problem is that what is going to happen to them after. We don't know. Stray Kids said that they don't have any plans of disbanding. And I think they still are like 4 years away from the first member to have to serve the military. So they still have some time. And they all said that they have all the intentions of continuing as a group after their tour. But then after 2026, as a company, you're going to have to think about what you're going to do. And they have a lot of groups that they're launching: Kickflip, ITZY still around, and of course NMIX. But none of those groups has reached the level of success yet, or even potential of Twice or Stray Kids. So they have to either start building up these groups or continue to launch groups until they hit it big. Okay. SM groups, another interesting thing is that they are massive in Korea, but they need to expand to other countries because, as we saw earlier, even though they have a lot of groups that are active in South Korea and are launching, um, releasing albums, and are also going on tour, they only netted $384,000. So that's not good. Of all, like, you have more than 10 acts that were active for 2024 and you netted 384,000. Not good. Okay, question or statement by Chelsea Vicha. Vicha didn't do anything in 2024 because of the case that they're trying to resolve. Okay. Next insight. So so these are some of the, oh, there's the slide. I was looking for the slide earlier. So these are some of the groups that actually toured for 2024. NCT Dream, aespa, they had a huge tour and they're back touring again. I think it's some sort of an encore run or something like that, but they're touring again. And then Rising Days, they are on a tour right now, fan tour, and well, it's done actually. And then TVXQ actually toured Asia, and they remain huge in Japan. Despite all of that, they still only earn 348,000. So not good. HYBE, now the other insight is that HYBE heavily invested in expansion and new groups since incorporation, since HYBE became HYBE. So remember, the first, before HYBE, there was Big Hit. And since then, they have been heavily investing in new groups and in expansion. And when I say expansion, I mean going into, like, establishing a headquarters in the US, actually hiring management, trying to gain new contracts, trying to sign new artists. So it's ever since BTS, I guess, the ever since BTS started planning their military service, HYBE itself has been trying to expand. So 2025 is when we should see if it really worked. If all the groups that they have launched will essentially be turning in their profit that they need. So remember that their goal has been to cut back on the amount of on the pie that BTS is contributing, the size of the pie that BTS is contributing in their bottom line, because they don't want to be heavily reliant on BTS. So we're gonna see if that will happen. So BTS is coming back in 2025, although they are tight-lipped about it, what BTS is going to do. They're so tight-lipped, it's starting to be funny to me. But we will know whether other groups will actually start contributing. Okay. Ray is asking, Fairlane, have you looked into the Rise drama, the biggest example of how SM focuses on domestic fans ever? No, I don't really keep tabs on their drama. What is the drama about? But yes, so SM is known for sticking it out, for really establishing big on the domestic market. Although I think in the last several years, they've kind of realized already that the domestic market is really not enough for them and that they have to expand. Okay. So Ray said, oh yeah, she's going to be, okay. Okay. So one hotshot said, I don't think that's possible. You mean it's not possible for BTS to not contribute 50% of the earnings or something like that? So in the last call, it was, I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to the conference report, for the, not conference report, but for the annual report, quarterly/annual report of HYBE, in terms of their earnings to their stakeholders. But it was so funny how the CEO himself was, like, obviously evading giving clues on what BTS is going to do for 2025 and 2026. Like, it's so funny. Okay. But Bang Luna is saying that is good for BTS, less pressure. Yeah, I mean, I think what they just need to do, what they meaning Hybe, is to find a way how to. I think BTS is going to end up contributing the most still for 2025 and 2026, whatever it is that they decide to do. But I guess their goal is that even if BTS, for example, ends up contributing 50% of the income, even if you remove that 50%, the company should be okay. That's the goal. They don't want to be too dependent on BTS. Okay. How long is the contract of BTS member? This is unconfirmed. These are just rumors. Okay, this is just a rumor. This is what I heard. Again, I can't prove it to you because it is a rumor, just the street talking. They said that BTS decides when it's going to expire. It's a very unique setup. You have never seen anything like this in the history of entertainment, global entertainment industry. Okay, so that is for their annual income. So I guess we're gonna see. It's going to be an interesting 2025. We know that several groups are already they already announced that they are going to tour. For Hybe, they've announced that Le Seraphim is going to tour, and they said, and I think Isle It is going to go on their first mini tour. So I guess they're going to do the same strategy that they used for Le Seraphim, meaning they'll do a small scale tour first, smaller venues in Asia, and then continue releasing albums before they do bigger tours. But for this year, Le Seraphim is going to tour. They said that TXT is going to tour, and Hypen is going to tour, N Team is going to tour. So a lot of the groups that they have will tour. And then, of course, you have BTS, which Hybe refuses to talk about. So we don't know what the plan is of BTS. We know, according to BTS, we know that they want to reunite, but we don't know what they're going to do. Album, celebration of the most beautiful moment in life. I have no idea. Okay, so Pinayon said TXT is going to tour Europe. Okay, so my baby woke up. He was napping. All right, so do you have questions about their earnings? I failed with August D2. You know what? I think, and this really excites me. I'm not worried about BTS because I feel like um I want each member to tour. I want all of them to actually start touring. I want all of them to experience touring. And I don't even mind like um overlap. Like for example, if two members are touring Europe right around the same time, because then I don't have to leave. I'm going to stay there for a month and just wait for the members to come there. I'm going to watch all of their concerts. So I'm not really worried about BTS. And I think like Big Hit itself, which is a private company, as you know, I don't think they're going to be worried because I do think that the members, after doing their group activities, they're going to start touring individually. Um, don't forget 17. They bring a lot. Oh yeah, they do bring in a lot of money. The only issue is that they are going to start serving. So yeah, it was not really an issue. It's just that you won't have the complete group. So I think two members will serve and then one or two are promoting in China. So they're kind of down to like nine members, something like that. There are a lot. So um okay. I agree that solo touring would be an interesting pathway because they will handle it with wisdom. Yes, and I think like I'm excited for that. Of course, I want them to come together first, right? That's of course that's the goal. I want to see them together first. But I also feel like it's like watching J Hope. He is just so good on stage, that it's inspiring. It's inspiring. He makes me dream to want to see the other members to actually tour as well. Like I am just so watching him. I haven't even seen him. I haven't watched him live yet. I only watched the three shows online, but you could feel like how different his story is from August D. Like how different their train of thought is, how different their style is. So I want to see how each member is going to be different from the others. That's why I'm so excited to actually um for them to start touring individually. But the group first. The group first. Okay. V posted he's getting in shape in Business Army so much. 1990 days. Not yeah, 99 days. What was shocking about the message of V is that he did say that he had a broken rib or something like that, right? He got injured. And like you just said it so casually. So but I am happy that it's less than 100 days now. One hot Shan said, J Hope blew my mind. I loved everything. I love everything too. So I'm going to discuss J Hope first. But any questions? Okay. Bang Luna, I want BTS to realize their world tour finally. I know, right? I mean, if you think about it, they actually haven't done like a proper world tour. Like the Love Yourself, that was an encore of the first tour that they have. So it was supposed to be Map of the Soul. That didn't happen. And PTD was some sort of a semi residency more than a tour. So this is going to be their first proper world tour. Phaedra, girl, I want to watch J Hope. Did you not find the link? There's a lot of links. They just uploaded just the entire concert. I have it too, so I can give it to you. Okay. Um, it's easy. Ray said it's easy to crack a rib in the military. He was a little too competitive. Well, that's RV for us. Okay. Question. Where's that question? What if Urban Squirrel is asking, what if all the rappers go on tour together and all the singers go on tour together? That would be fun. That would be fun. And I hope that they do that. But I kind of want them to do individual tours first. I think they can hack it, and then it's going to be such a pleasure watching them. Like the difference in how they're going to set up their stage. As we all know, they command their own stage, their own tour. So I think it's going to be very exciting. So I definitely want like units, but I also want individual tours as well. Okay. I found a question earlier. The jokes about fighting the HYBE interns for the links was really funny. It was funny. It was funny on X. Um, Pfizer said switching to YouTube. Okay. All right. So, any questions about the earnings of JYP, SM, and YG before I move on? Hyde Brooks do a family tour together. Angel Star. Fairly, I want to see how each member's stage will be like from their own idea. I know, right? That's what really is exciting for me. So, like, I think this is going to be, we have like a good 10 more years of BTS. Okay, this is me being delusional. I don't know if it's going to be 10 years, but it's not going to be two. I think it's going to be longer than that. Um, Apo Bangpo, I think they will mix and match in the same combined tour. Urban Squirrel said the singers don't have enough songs individually to have a whole tour on their own. If they launch one, if each, well, if okay, Jungkook and Jimin will, if they launch one, if they release one more album, they will have enough for a tour. Um, Jungkook has like original, including his solos from BTS. He has like 16, right? Yeah, I think he has about 16 or 17 if you include his solos that he did with BTS. So, and then Jimin, I think is about 12. So if Jimin releases a full album, so that's about 12 songs, he's going to have enough songs for an entire concert. And then if Jungkook does the same, if he releases one more album, then he would have enough. Yeah. So yes, plus 16, like 16, and plus they seem to also do a few BTS songs. Yeah, correct. Like all of them seems to do like 2 to 3 BTS songs. So I think so. It's actually V that will have two. I guess if V releases I guess if V releases a full album, he will have enough. If he, and I mean full album, like at the very least 12 songs, then he will have enough for a tour because he has his mini album, and yeah, I think all of them will have enough. Fire just said, I can't wait so soon. This is my first time witnessing all the boys out in Jin joined around when I became an army. Oh wow. Really, Phaedra? Okay. Oh, it's going to be such a treat. Ah, you're going to love it. Okay. All right. JK with 16 he also does some of the covers he has done that would be about 30. Yeah. Yeah. They will have enough. So I think just one more album and they can. Okay. Um BTS Paved the Way said, I'm just so excited to see J Hope in Chicago, my very first live concert with BTS member. I'm so excited traveling from Melbourne heat to freezing cold. It won't be too cold anymore. Okay. Jalma is asking, Fairy Lane, is there a life expectancy for a group career and do they apply to BTS? No, it doesn't apply. Right around usually for K-pop groups, 7 years is the that year when you know that they will be as active as they are now, and BTS has already broken that. Primarily because that's the contract. Your first contract is 7 years, and so they're very very active in the 7 years. And then usually when it's a boy band, they start serving the military, and then when it's a girl group they start going once they renew their contract they want to do like individual releases, they want to pursue other things, acting and stuff like that, because they start thinking about long term, right? Like a lot of girl group members want to get married, be young enough to become a mother and stuff like that. So usually 7 years. The first part when they're really active, many of them would not say that they have disbanded, although they won't be as active. Okay, the 7 year curse, correct. Okay, let's go into J Hope. Did you all watch the stream the first 3 days? Who actually watched all 3 days of the streams aside from me? Day one, day two, day three. Yes, he likes scratches. He also likes, I think he likes the humming when I'm talking. He likes the humming in my chest when I'm talking. I'm still getting over it. Dodger Girl said, I watched all 3 days. Oh my God. You're like me. I also watched all 3 days. Evie said all 3 days. Oh, there's a lot of us. All 3 days. Jessica, all 3 days. Oh, a lot of us. Wow. Did you decode what the narrative? Did you understand his narrative?